Hello, my name is Esther. Well, not really, but I don't really like my actual name, so instead I'm going by Esther on this channel, named after the queen of all murderers, Esther Coleman from the movie Orphan. This will probably be my first video. I'm not sure yet because I have quite a few on the go and I'm not sure which one I will record first, but this is the one that I really wanted to make today. And this video is basically just a list of my favourite horror movies. Because I'm only 15, and also because I literally started getting into horror movies a few months ago, I have not seen every movie out there. And I also have not seen, like, the classics, like The Exorcist or The Shining. So, because I'm not an expert on this, please do not take this list as the list that you have to stick to if you're trying to get into horror movies. This is just my list of films that I have enjoyed, some that I've watched like really recently, and others that were the first horror movies that I had ever seen and have shocked me and kind of scarred me since. So without further ado, let's just get on with the list. The first on the list is Silent Hill. I first watched this film like 2 days ago. I'm not even joking. I watched this film like 2 days ago and it's already on my list because I loved it so much. It is mad. Basically, it's a film that's about a woman who is taking her daughter up to this place called Silent Hill because she keeps having nightmares and she talks in her sleep and she says things about Silent Hill.
Honey, sometimes when you go to sleep, you go on a little walk, and sometimes you talk about a place.
So her mother is basically just like, okay then, we might as well go up to Silent Hill, it might cure you or something. When they get there though, it's a complete ghost town, and it looks like there's snow all around, but it's actually ash from a fire that has been burning for like 30 years, I think. I'm not going to spoil the movie, of course, because I think that everyone should watch it, but basically the film has so many amazing and disturbing visuals. I love the visuals in this movie. The story gets a bit stale at times, and it is like a 2-hour long film, so it can be a bit boring, but it is so worth it. By the end of the film, you finally find out what all of the monsters symbolize. Basically, as I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but the monsters are all characters in the story that is told at the end of the whole film, and you basically pick up the clues throughout the film and find out at the end, you know, what really happened in the town, what caused the fire to burn forever, and why everyone in the town is so scared and also quite horrible people. I feel like the first game especially, I don't know anything about the others, but the first game and the first film complement each other very well. I love the deaths in this movie. I know that sounds very morbid, but like the deaths, one of the deaths in particular is amazing. I'm not going to say what happens because it's a bit of a spoiler because they are quite a prominent character in the story, but let's just say it was really creative. Kind of like how creative the monsters are in this film. I'm really rambling, but basically just watch this movie, okay? Like, it's kind of long, but I think it's worth it. I'm still yet to see the second movie, which is Silent Hill Revelations, but I've heard a few bad things about it. Some people have said that it's basically just the same as the first one, but, you know, a bit updated because it was made a few years later. So I might watch it, but I'm not sure yet. The second film on the list is Paranormal Activity. Again, I watched this a few days ago and I was going to put it in my honourable mentions, but because it was so creatively made out of such a small budget and because the whole narrative of the story was so well written, I feel like I kind of have to give it some credit here. It is regarded as one of the best horror movies ever made. I saw it in a book called 1001 Movies You Have to Watch Before You Die, and that was on there. So I'm glad that I have finally seen it, and I really enjoyed it. Even though it didn't really scare me much, I really liked the story of it, and I am excited to watch the next 3. The next film on this list is Raw, and this is the only 18 in the list. I know I said at the start that I don't watch 18s, but I had to watch this one. I mean, come on, it's about freaking cannibals, and it's French. Like, I love foreign films, okay? Not because I'm a hipster, but because I just love foreign films. Like, leave me alone. Basically, this film is about a girl called Justine who is a strict vegan, and she has dreams of going to vet school. One day, though, she, as part of like the vet initiation ritual, she is forced to eat a raw rabbit's kidney, and that, my friend, it takes her down a dark path of cannibalism and sex and a lot of blood, and it's really crazy. And there's this part involving a Brazilian wax and some scissors. That's all I'm gonna say, but you should just really watch this film. Plus the director is like really amazing, and I love her so much. Next on the list is The Babadook. Now, honestly, if you want to know what this film is about, a lot of people know what this film is about, but if you don't know what this film is about, I suggest googling it, because I'm not touching this film with a fucking 10-foot pole, okay? It scared me a lot. I hate The Babadook. I think about it every fucking night, okay? It's on Netflix in the UK. Just watch it if you really want to, but be warned, because it will probably haunt your dreams, alright? I showed my friend the trailer to this film, and she had nightmares, okay? I'm not even including clips of this film, I'm that scared of it. The next one is Crimson Peak, and I freaking love this film so much. This is also on the UK Netflix. Like, I was just scrolling through Netflix one day, trying to watch some horror movies, because that was Home Alone, and I'm such a cool kid. And I came across Crimson Peak. It's a historical horror movie. It is basically about a woman, I can't remember her name because I haven't seen it in a while, a woman whose father dies, and she decides to get married to this mysterious stranger and live with him and his sister in the mountains, and it's all frozen, and there's snow, and underneath the snow there's like this weird red sand, and there's guys trying to mine the sand. I don't know, the sand's not that important, but it is quite a good visual aspect of the film, you know, like white is the purity, and then the red underneath is like the murder and the dark side of the place called Crimson Peak. And this film is just really good. It has a lot of like secrets, and you find out some spooky stuff, and there's a blood ghost, and also you see Tom Hiddleston's butt. So what more can you ask for? The next film I also saw very recently, and that is The Blair Witch Project. This movie, when I first saw it, really pissed me off, but now I understand like why it pissed me off, and now I love it, so that's great. This film is in a found footage style. It was like one of the very first movies to be in found footage style. I think it's kind of old. I think it was made in like the 90s or something. It's about like a group of filmmakers who go into the woods to basically make like a documentary about a local myth called the Blair Witch, because a lot of people have died and gone missing in the woods, especially in the 40s. There are a lot of like children going missing, so they decide to investigate, and not much happened in the film apart from like, you know, a lot of arguments, people losing their minds, crying, and like weird stuff appearing. Like, you don't even see the Blair Witch, if it even exists, but the ending is what really pissed me off. But then at the same time, I kind of got it, because the whole film isn't really supposed to be a film. It's supposed to be found footage, and basically just this project that a group of teenagers were working on. So I feel like, although the ending left a lot to be desired, I can still watch the second film, which I've heard is bad. But at the same time, you know, I think its mystery is what makes it such a great horror movie. Now it's time for the honourable mentions. The first of them being The Conjuring, and this is only on here because Although I enjoyed it, it was not as good as the other films on this list, in my opinion. I was really excited to watch this film because my friend was talking about it quite a lot, and I finally watched it and I was a bit underwhelmed. This is probably because I was having a sort of sleepover / movie night thing with my friends, and we were talking like the whole time, so I probably didn't really pay that much attention to it. I also think that because the film focused on many spirits in the house, this isn't really a spoiler by the way, many spirits and many different, backstories that you have to learn, I felt like I wasn't that connected to the film. I usually like horror movies that have one story or one backstory that is important to why a certain character dies or why they are haunting someone. But with this one, it felt quite unfocused in its delivery of the backstories. But I still think that it is a really well made movie, and there were some scary moments in it, so that's why it's on this list. And the final one is probably my favourite film on this list. However, it's only in the honourable mentions because it's not scary, and I don't even know whether I should call it a horror movie or not. And that is Orphan, which I've said previously is where I got my channel name from, because Esther is a queen and I love her so much. It's about an orphan called Esther, who gets adopted into this family who lost their child a few years ago, and basically the mother wants to adopt a child to sort of fill the space that was left by her other daughter, and a series of horrible events happen, and basically it turns out that Esther is a murderer. That's not a spoiler by the way, because there is an even bigger secret in this film. But I absolutely love this movie so much. Like, Esther's just amazing. There are some really good child actors out there, but I think Isabelle Fuhrman is so underrated. Like, she's not really a child actor anymore, but in this movie, she was fantastic.
It's in heaven now.
When grown-ups love each other very, very much, they want to show each other that love. They want to express it.
I know. They fuck.
Some of the deliveries on the lines were amazing. There are some really quotable moments, and I just love this film so much. I could watch it 1,000 times over and I probably wouldn't be bored. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. If you have any sort of recommendations for me, because I'm still very new to this whole horror thing, please leave them in the comments. The only thing being, I can't watch 18s because I'm only 15 and I get scared very easily, even though I love horror. And also nothing with clowns in, because I have calorophobia. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it means you have a fear of clowns. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm very proud of it, to be honest. I mean, I hope it goes well. Editing's gonna be hell though. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.